Okay, hello. Guys, say a nice hello.
Hello.
Hello, and welcome to the Slam Jam Wrestling Show here on the Extreme Improv Xstreamed YouTube channel. And hope you're having a fantastic day and looking forward to all of the exciting wrestling action that we're going to be discussing on tonight's show. So, as always, starting things off, we're going to meet tonight's performers and we are going to find out an interesting wrestling trivia fact from each of them as they will attempt to get a bonus point as we start things off here. So, starting us off, Darius, say hello to the people.
Oh, hello. How you all doing? Right, so my interesting fact. The McMahon family have been in wrestling since the 1920s.
Wow. That is 100 years, solid.
Yeah, so it would be Vince's grandfather, I suppose, who started it off. So obviously his dad's father started promoting shows back in the 1920s, apparently. So it's always quite interesting.
Okay, that's an interesting point. Andrew, say hello to the people.
Hello, people. I don't have a wrestling fact.
Well, this is fantastic. I'm going to start minusing points from people when they know that they should. And for that, Andrew, -1 point. Asad, say hello to the people.
Hello to the people. My name is Asad Khan. I'm from Mumbai in India. And interesting wrestling fact is, apart from the few shows that have happened here where the entire roster has traveled to Mumbai and done shows here, the individual wrestlers that have come here are Triple H, Big Show, Kingston, Ryback, and John Cena and Roman Reigns even. I've met John Cena and I've met Ryback.
Okay, which was the better experience?
John Cena for sure.
Okay, certainly. Okay, I'm going to say that's not so much. Well, it's an interesting point. I wouldn't say it's so much as a wrestling fact. So, Darius, I'm going to give you a point there. So, with this, we're going to go on to this interesting blend of improv comedy and trivia and discussion and other nonsense as we get into the show. And with this, we're going to go on to our first round. And our first round tonight is going to be our debate round. Now, interestingly, or not, recently we have had discussion around the idea of beating Ric Flair's 16-time World Championship record. So, obviously, this was a thing going into SummerSlam when John Cena, also a 16-time World Champion, was potentially going to be the one to beat it. We've recently seen Ric Flair return to the NWA, where, obviously, he most famously won most of those World Championships. But the question is, who, if anyone, should break the 16-time World Championship record? That is our topic. We'll see if we can come to any kind of agreement on this. What's anyone's thoughts on this? Who, if anyone, should break Ric Flair's 16-time World Championship record? Any thoughts on this from anyone? Andrew?
I mean, it's a short list because outside of Cena, I mean, it's Triple H, but...
Well, no, but like, here's the thing. If you want to say that you think Kofi Kingston should break it, and it's going to take him another 25 years to do it because he's got one, then it could be like who should be the one to do it. It could be anyone. Obviously, Triple H is nearby in numbers, so I guess it is John Cena and Randy Orton. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Randy Orton, Darby.
Do you think it should be Randy Orton, or do you think it will be Randy Orton?
Oh, both. I think it should be Randy Orton. He's given a lot to WWE. He's been there for such a long time. For his longevity, he's always kept himself, fit and healthy. Hasn't had any real major injuries. To be fair, he's very good at what he does. Lots and lots of fans, to be honest with you. So yeah, I think it should be Randy Orton, and I think it will be Randy Orton.
Okay, Asad, do you have any theories on this?
Well, the obvious choice is John Cena. If it needs to happen, then it should be John Cena. So again, I would reiterate the fact that if it is John Cena, it will never be for the Universal title because that's not a real championship. It should be for the WWE. That's what I believe in. If not Cena, then I think the record is going to be at 16 times world, so that when someone, if and when someone reaches that level to break that record of 16 world titles, he will actually overcome John Cena and Ric Flair both, and that would do a lot more for his career than just beating the record of John Cena or Ric Flair for that matter.
Okay. One thing I want to dig into there, because I think it was mentioned previously on a previous week. You don't think the Universal Championship is a real championship?
No.
What is there any stage which you would consider it a real championship?
First of all, it is like only 5 minutes old. That's the biggest reason. It has no historic value to it.
Well, but hang on. So I will challenge you there because technically the big gold belt in WWE, other than its design, it wasn't the WCW Championship. So you could take away several World Championship reigns from the likes of John Cena or the Undertaker or Edge.
Yeah, but when WWE buys WCW, they own all entities. So if they do own the title, even if it looks the same, it still has historic value to it. I mean, the World Heavyweight Championship, the big gold belt, sure, it came out of nowhere suddenly, but it did have historic value to it. I mean, it wasn't created and just, announced that, okay, this is a big thing now. So
are you saying that you don't see any value in the AEW Championship, Assad?
No, it has historic value because it has been there since the time of the company being born. That is all.
Okay. All right. I won't pound you further on that one. But any other thoughts? I will give a thought of who I think should beat Ric Flair and John Cena's 16-time championship reign, and that is Ric Flair himself. I would like to see Ric Flair challenge, since he is back within the folds of the NWA. I would like to see him win the £10 of gold one more time. So I don't know if you guys follow NWA, but this last weekend we had former WWE wrestler Trevor Murdoch defeat Nick Aldis for the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship.
Us ending his 1,000+ day reign as the champion.
Yeah. So I don't know what anyone's thoughts on that. Assad.
It's a real title belt is all I'm going to say.
It's a real title belt, even if it's held by Trevor Murdoch.
Yes. It has historic value. It is the most important title in all of professional wrestling is what I would say.
Oh, wow. Okay, just to dig onto that subject, Assad, what's anyone's thoughts on that? Is the NWA World Heavyweight Championship the most, what was the phrase you used? Important championship in wrestling history. More than the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Darius.
I mean, it is important. I realize after saying it, but yes, one can argue that it is the most important one. But it is definitely...
One can argue that the 24/7 championship is the most important. It doesn't make it so.
And one must be stupid then.
Okay, Darius, you were going to say?
Right. So I would argue that it probably is the most prestigious in wrestling, but I'm going to be completely biased here because I'm definitely an AEW mark, but I think the AEW World Championship is the most important because it represents so much more than just a belt. It represents a company now that have become legitimate competition, something that we haven't seen for 20 plus years. So for that reason, and I like the fact it is called the AEW World Championship belt and not the AEW Heavyweight Championship belt, because, it steps away then from what WWE are going back to, and that's the whole big men, wrestling and all that sort of stuff. I do like the guys. I mean, you look at CM Punk and Darby Allin, didn't know by not the biggest wrestlers in the business, but one of the hottest tickets in town right now.
Okay. Interesting point. I think it's been an interesting thing with the WWE Championship. They keep bringing back and dropping the term World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah.
So they will now. I think it is just the WWE Championship, and they don't even say World Championship. Interesting. Andrew, what's your thoughts?
Which bit?
I don't know anything. Just tell us things.
I was going to bring up R-Truth, and then I thought, no, maybe not.
No, go on. R-Truth. He was a former NWA World Champion.
Well, I mean, I know it's the 24/7 championship, but technically he's had more title runs than Ric Flair.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? If we go I think the person with the most hardcore championship reigns, what may have been Raven, in the end. But yeah, so I guess that doesn't really equal the championship, in terms of the world title. But in terms of the most important championship. The interesting thing with the NWA one is pretty much every other title has kind of spun off from it. So, obviously, the WWE World Heavyweight Championship did. The WCW World Heavyweight Championship did. The ECW World Heavyweight Championship, famously with Shane Douglas throwing down the NWA Championship, did. The TNA World Heavyweight Championship, it was originally NWA TNA. And even when you look at AEW, the first AEW show, even though it wasn't AEW, was All in which, again, wasn't the final match on the card, and there was the Ring of Honor world title defended on there as well. But Cody beating, again, Nick Aldis for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, that so easily could be seen as the first world title to change hands in AEW was the NWA title. Andrew?
I would also say, I'd say that all titles are important to the people holding them. In terms of, regardless of what fans think. For example, the United States Championship, since Damian Priest won it. I don't know if anyone saw the triple threat match on Raw, which is really good. Priest, McIntyre, and Sheamus. It was pay-per-view quality, in my opinion. So I think the United States Championship. So that title, I'm not saying the United States Championship is the most important title in wrestling. I'm saying that title is obviously important to Damian Priest.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, there are some titles that have got bigger history. The interesting thing with the US title is that is recognised as a continuation of the WCW and NWA US championships before it, whereas the World Heavyweight Championship wasn't a continuation of the WCW and NWA Championship before that. Okay, so coming back to the original question, Darius, who do you think should break the 16-time World Championship record held by Ric Flair and John Cena, if anyone?
I changed my mind, and there's something we haven't talked about. So, Charlotte Flair.
Oh, okay. Very interesting. Yeah. Do you want to dig into that slightly more?
Yeah, I think obviously because of her father's legacy, why not go one better? And if you look at Charlotte's sort of wrestling career, she got signed to WWE on a developmental contract with no wrestling experience whatsoever. And she's one of my favourite female wrestlers. She's very good at what she does. So why not? Why can't it be Charlotte Flair?
What do we know? Do you know what number she's up to currently? Is over 10? Is it at least 10?
Yeah, over 10. She's 12. I know I can't believe I disputed for some reason.
Yeah.
But on 12, yeah.
Oh, do you know, that's an interesting point as well. It's a few years ago. Did anyone ever see the Pro Wrestling Illustrated almanacs that they'd do years ago? Anyone ever see any of those? The PWI almanacs? It would have the complete title histories. I don't know if I've got one nearby, but when they started saying, Ric Flair's a 16-time world champion, I was always a bit no, he's not. He's 18-time world champion. And I think that there may be a couple of title changes that WWE doesn't recognise. And in reality, Ric Flair's already maybe even an 18-time world champion, at least by someone's measurements. But anyway, my pick is that I think Ric Flair should win another NWA World Championship. Andrew, what's your thoughts? Who should it be?
I didn't have a definitive choice. There's a few names, and then obviously Darius brought up Charlotte, which is quite a good It made me think, I don't know, maybe Becky Lynch.
Becky
Someday.
Lynch, she's got a long way to go. Well, I say that.
A long
How many
way to go.
times has she won the women's championship?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Sure.
I don't know. And okay, so coming back to what you raised earlier about the AEW championship, not saying. Well, they say do they say the AEW World Championship? They don't put a weight division to it. They also do say the AEW Women's World Championship, whereas I don't believe the WWE say that. They just say the Raw Women's Championship, the SmackDown Women's Championship. But clearly they are World Championships.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's interesting how they have these different classifications.
I
Okay.
don't know. I'd argue against that one because obviously you've got NXT UK with their own women's championship as well, isn't you? So I would argue that the Raw and SmackDown women's championships couldn't be world championships because there are women's championships that belong to WWE in other parts of the world. So that'd be my argument against that. I think.
That's super interesting. Well, okay, so if you're saying that the SmackDown Women's Championship isn't a world championship, then surely Charlotte couldn't break it.
Yeah, good point.
I don't know.
Good point.
But the NXT Championship, that I guess that's a promotion championship, and then the NXT UK that clearly has a geographical region attached to it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was more on about the NXT UK championship.
Yeah. Okay, Andrew.
I made my decision. Serious decision now. Randy Orton.
Randy Orton. Yeah. I would not like to see Randy Orton break it. I don't think Randy Orton I like Randy Orton a lot. He's grown on me over the years. I think he's improved a lot over the years. But going back a few years ago to when he was first the Legend Killer and all stuff like this, I think he was in Evolution. I think he was good in the ring. I didn't think he was great in the ring. Nowadays, I think he's a lot better in the ring than he used to be. But I don't think for a lot of his world title runs, I don't think he was equal to a Ric Flair. So for that reason, I wouldn't, or a John Cena. So for that reason, I wouldn't like to see him do it. But, okay, we've got various ideas. Assad has had to drop off. He may return at some point. But with this, we will go on to our next round. And our next round that we are going to do is going to be a quick-fire quiz round. Quick-fire quiz round. So Assad's going to be lagging behind on the points here. It's just between Andrew and Darius for the moment. But who did Shane McMahon wrestle when he was dropped from the Titantron? Who was Shane McMahon's opponent when he fell from, up on the Titantron? Darius.
Is it Steve Blackman?
It was Steve Blackman. Correct answer. Okay, next question. You have to get all 5 correct for this to get the point. Name 5 members of the Guerrero family. 5 members of the Guerrero family. Who can name 5 members of the Guerrero family? Anyone? I will put a countdown. 4, 3. Anyone want to take a stab? You can get a point if you can name 4. Okay, Andrew, go for it.
Eddie Guerrero, Chavo Guerrero, Vicky Guerrero.
What's this name?
That's 3.
Or Hector Guerrero.
There you go. Can you name one more, though?
I forgot what Eddie's daughter's name is.
Oh.
Nah.
Okay, so his daughter his name's something like Shul or something like this, like Shul or something. But Chavo Classic, Chavo Guerrero Sr. would have been another, and Mondo Guerrero, I believe, is another. There's a few of them out there. I would have even accepted if you just said the gobbledygooker. But with this, Andrew, I will give you a point for guessing 4, as I did, so you could get it. So you've gone up from -1 onto 0 points. So there you go. Now, the next question. Who has the nickname Freshly Squeezed? Darius.
Orange Cassidy.
That is Orange Cassidy. Next question. Stevie Ray is the brother of which wrestler? Andrew.
Booker T.
It is Booker T. Okay, who is known for their catchphrase of cowboy shit? Darius.
Hangman Adam Page.
That is Adam Hangman Page. You are correct. The promotion MLW. What does MLW stand for?
Buzz.
Darius.
Major League Wrestling.
That is Major League Wrestling. Why did Shawn Michaels lose his smile? Why did Shawn Michaels lose his smile?
Oh, I don't know.
Does anyone know why Shawn Michaels lost his smile? We will put the 5, 4, 3, 2. Andrew.
Injury, it's not the...
Well, okay, I'm willing to give you a point. Can you put any more onto the injury?
It's up.
No. Okay, so I'll give you a point for injury. So on the storyline is that he was... they'd got some injury or whatever it was. The real reason was that he got into a fight at a bar and was beaten up supposedly by a group of about 4 or 5 Marines. As legend would have it, it may have just been one person that beat him up. So, moving on from that. Okay, what is the name of the Porky character who is a member of Bray Wyatt's Firefly Funhouse? The pork-based character. The pork-based character is the best way. Okay, Darius.
Eric Rowan.
No, incorrect answer. Good guess,
No.
good guess. Okay. It was Huskins, the pig boy. So, the next section of this, we're going to be looking at failed family members. I'm going to tell you the name of a well-known or successful wrestler, at least, and you have to tell me the name of their family member that got into wrestling but failed to remotely live up to their more famous relative. Starting off with Ric Flair. Ric Flair. Who is their failed family member in the wrestling industry?
Buzz.
Okay, Darius.
I knew it was his son, but I have no idea what his son's name was. I remember him getting into it. It was terrible.
Yeah. Okay. Won't give the point without the name, though. Andrew, do you have a stab at it?
I have no idea.
I can tell you that it was David Flair. David Flair, former WCW United States champion. So I don't know if we want to count the United States champion as the most prestigious still. But other than that, yeah. Okay, Hulk Hogan. Who was Hulk Hogan's wrestler relative that failed to make a mark on the industry? Darius.
His daughter, Brooke Hogan.
Oh, do you know what? I am willing to give you a point. Wasn't the answer I was looking for, but no, I will give you a point. She obviously was involved in TNA, but there is another answer that I hadn't considered, that there was 2.
Did she ever get in the ring?
She was married to Bully Ray, so she was definitely in the storyline. So I'm willing to give a point there. She didn't get too much further than that, though.
I knew she wanted to wrestle, but it just didn't materialise for whatever reason.
Yeah, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it is Horace Hogan, who was a member of the NWO. Horace Hogan, Horace Boulder, his nephew, I believe. Next up, slightly controversial to be on this list, but I'm going to say it anyway, Mr. Perfect. Andrew?
Curtis Axel.
Yes, I will give you the point there. I would say that arguably Curtis Axel has, even though there's been a couple of attempts to use him more prominently, they've never come off as successful. Former Intercontinental Champion. But Curtis Axel, can anyone give... I will give a point and 2 points potentially available here for Curtis Axel's other names. So there are 2 other names that he is known by. Andrew.
I only know the one, Michael McGillicuddy.
Yes, Michael McGillicuddy. The other name is his real name. Does anyone know Michael McGillicuddy, Curtis Axel's real name? And it is Joe Hennig is the answer. So, lastly, oh no, not quite lastly on this. Okay, Cowboy Bill Watts. Does anyone know the name of Cowboy Bill Watts' failed relative? No? Okay. And with that, it was Eric Watts. Eric Watts, who was in WCW for a while. Also been other places, including the WWE, where he was part of Techno Team 2000. And then we have former WWE World Heavyweight Champion Stan Stasiak. So, who do we have here? who is the failed relative of former WWE World Heavyweight Champion Stan the Man Stasiak? Any guesses? Andrew?
Sean Stasiak?
It is Sean Stasiak. I will give a bonus point if you know an alternative name that Sean Stasiak was known by. Any guesses? Going once, going twice, and the answer I was looking for was Meat. When he first came into WWE during the Attitude Era, he was known as Meat. Lastly, slightly on the theme of this, but arguably wasn't in the industry long enough to even be a failure, but certainly wasn't a great success, we have Kerry Von Erich, the relative of Kerry Von Erich, specifically rather than the overall Von Erich family. Does anyone know? So, going once, going twice. It is his daughter, Lacey Von Erich, who was in TNA for a while. Okay, moving on to the next question here, of which we only have a couple more. MJF hasn't won a championship belt in AEW, but has won what accolade 2 times? Okay,
Yes.
Darius.
The Diamond Battle Royale, so he's got a diamond ring as a result of winning the Battle
Yeah,
Royale.
do you know I'm willing to give you the point here, but just for clarity, do you know the actual name of it?
I thought it was the Diamond Battle Royale, but it isn't, is it?
So it's very close, but it's just slightly off.
No, I'm going to have to...
Okay.
No,
Andrew, do you know what it was called?
No idea.
The Dynamite Diamond Ring. So I'm still going to give you the point there, but it was the Dynamite Diamond Ring. Okay, and lastly on this quiz round, we will ask you the question. At All Elite Wrestling All Out 2021, who will be in the advertised main event?
Oh, what are you advertising?
Well, this is the question. Darius?
It's got to be a championship match, isn't it? So it's got to be Kenny Omega versus... Who's Omega wrestling? I forgot. That's terrible.
Oh, dear.
Had a few minutes.
Well, we're going to come on to predictions in a second.
Yeah. So Kenny Omega... Who's he wrestling? Why can't I remember who Kenny Omega's wrestling?
2, 1. Okay, Andrew, I'm going to hand it over to you now.
Christian?
It is. So I will give you that. However, it was a slight trick question all round, just because if this is to be believed, it seems that the main event is being advertised as CM Punk versus Darby Allin, who may be going on last. So with this, we will come to the predictions. We're not going to take as long over it as we did our SummerSlam predictions, but let's quickly have a run through of the matches on the card for All Out 2021 and see if we think we know who's going to
I only
win
know
what.
2 matches.
You only know. Well, don't worry. I'll go over the matches. You don't have to guess what the matches are here. So the first one we have probably pre-show match, the Casino Battle Royale match for the AEW Women's World Championship. And in the match I'll go over the participants, and obviously you can guess who you think is going to win. So it's not for the championship, it's to be the number 1 contender. My bad. So in the match is Nyla Rose, Thunder Rosa, The Bunny, Big Swole, Julia Hart, Tay Conti, Diamante, Penelope Ford, Red Velvet, Hikaru Shida, Emi Sakura, and Jade Cargill, Kira Hogan, and some others to be confirmed. Any picks from that? Who do we think is going to win?
Well, I'd like to think it's Tay Conti, but that's my own personal reasons. You know, she's a attractive lady, let's say. But I don't think it's going to be any of those participants, if I'm honest with you. I think it is going to be Ruby Soho, a.k.a. Ruby Riott. I think she'll turn up as a surprise entrance, win the Royale, and then go against Britt Baker, D for the.
Do you know what? I think that's a hell of a good prediction. I think there's a real strong chance, with some people not confirmed yet, that we're going to get one or more surprise people. And I think that's a real strong possibility. Andrew, do you have any theories?
I don't. Most of those names went over my head. A few I've heard, I mean, or I'm familiar with, but I like the Ruby Soho idea. But I don't know. I just have no idea. I just the bunny.
The bunny. I think the bunny is one of the ones with the least chance, but yeah, absolutely. I think of those, out of the people in it, I think it will either be Jade Cargill or Thunder Rosa, and I think that they might be holding off on another match between Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, but I'm going to go with Thunder Rosa at this stage, just because I think they can build like a strong brand around basically those two. Okay, next up we have Jon Moxley against Kojima from New Japan Pro Wrestling. So Satoshi Kojima and Jon Moxley in an AEW ring. Andrew, who do you reckon is going to win there?
There's no title involved. It
is just a match.
I don't know who. I mean, I know who Jon Moxley is. I don't know who the other one is, but I'll go with the other one.
Okay, Darius. Any
was
thoughts?
it Kojiro?
Satoshi Kojima.
Oh, yeah. I'll go with him.
I'll go with Marks on that one, to be fair. Kojima is going on a bit, so I think it's more to do to showcase that he still got it and just bring a little bit of New Japan to America.
Yeah.
I like that partnership, to be fair.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is just to have this Forbidden Door connection, and Mox has won most of his matches in AEW. I think they're going to keep him very strong here. Then we have Andrade against Pac. Any guesses?
Oh.
Yeah, go ahead, Darius.
As you can say, I'm really looking forward to that match, because for me, that's the one that has the potential to be a show stealer. But I think, as much as I don't want it to happen, I think Andrade will be going over that night.
Oh, okay, why don't you want it to happen?
I love Pac, and it's probably because a little bit is how impressed I am. He's taken the Geordie accent and made it completely understandable to American football.
Wow.
And I just think he is a phenomenal talent, and I hope that one day he gets that belt. You sort of see him. He's just absolutely brilliant, and I don't think he's winning. I think because Andrade hasn't had that many matches. I think he's had one other match in AEW. Yeah. It'll be Andrade taking the championship. Yeah, Pat's brilliant.
Yeah, Andrew, any thoughts on this?
Like I said, I know nothing about like the reasons for these matches happening, storylines, all that sort of stuff. So it's just basic.
Yeah. Okay. So Andrew, we can rattle through this. Do you not watch AEW ever?
I've started watching clips on YouTube. I'm trying to like slowly kind of. Yeah.
No, fair enough.
I'll go on Andrade.
I think Andrade has to win. He's fresh in there. He obviously just wrestled Omega in AAA in a main event, and I think AEW would be stupid not to make him look like a world championship contender. Next up, we have QT Marshall against the Big Show, Paul White. And what's our theories on this, anyone?
Big Show's going over.
Yeah, I think so.
Either that or the rest of the Nightmare Factory. I think it is the Nightmare Factory, or his goons will turn up and lay into the Big Show, to be fair. And they'll just continue the feud on from there. Perhaps it's not finished.
Do you know what? I don't see this match lasting 4 minutes. I think it's going to be an absolute squash. I think Big Show, I don't know how many matches he's going to wrestle in AEW. I don't think they're going to do this as a long back and forth feud. They just basically spent a lot of money to have the Big Show there. They want him on the card. Andrew, what's your thoughts?
Go with the Big Show.
Okay, so this is a lot of the undercard, but this is where things get a little bit more spicy. We have next up MJF against Chris Jericho. If Jericho loses, he will retire from in-ring competition in AEW. I think Jericho is going to win, unless there is something that we're not aware of, where Jericho... Because, for me, when we look back a few years ago, when Shawn Michaels retired, it was, really oh, is Shawn Michaels actually going to retire? We think he has to retire because he's challenged the streak, but surely Shawn Michaels isn't done yet because he was so good still. It could be something like that where Jericho just decides, well, I'm going to call it a day now if he feels that he's starting to miss a step or two. Unless it's something like that. But again, is Jericho retiring on what's listed as not the main event?
Yeah. But he said AEW television, so he might have plans to wrestle in Japan, or across Impact, or something like that. And I think for me, if anyone was going to retire Jericho, I think it should be MJF.
Wow. Okay. I think Jericho is going to win because you take Jericho away. Yeah, he could they've announced him as a commentator for Rampage, but if he's still just going to be stuck around, then it's what really happens with the Inner Circle. I think a lot of pieces fall. He's got his Rock and Rage or whatever it is on the cruise ship. He isn't retiring clearly. But Andrew, what's your thoughts?
I would go with, like I said, unless, like you said, there's something we don't know. I think Jericho will win.
Yeah, certainly. Okay, next up, Eddie Kingston challenging Miro for the AEW TNT Championship. I'll say straight away, I think Miro should keep it. It doesn't mean he will, but I think he should. I think he's on a heck of a run with it. It's getting him over big, and I think Miro should keep it.
Yeah. I agree with you, and I think Miro will win. I watched Kingston. He's a lazy wrestler, Kingston is, so it's going to be a really interesting match, to be fair, because completely different styles. Kingston is a bit of a brawler, whereas Miro isn't. He's quite a hard-hitting, and he's used to throwing people around, and obviously Kingston's quite a big guy himself. Yeah, I hope Miro wins. He's been absolutely superb with that belt. I know there's been talk of getting his wife involved as well, be a mouthpiece for Miro, but I don't think that should happen either, because I think he's doing well enough on his own as a heel.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think if they bring in Lana at any point soon, it's just going to be rehashing what we've had in the past.
Yeah.
Andrew, any guesses on this?
Well, the only stuff I've seen of those two was a clip on YouTube this week of Miro in a match, and then Kingston came out, and Miro looked really good, dominant. So, like I said, I'm not really familiar with Kingston, so I'll go with Miro.
Okay, next up we have the Lucha Brothers challenging the Young Bucks, and it is a steel cage match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. This, for me, is probably what will be the show steal. Well, it's going to be the craziest match on the whole card. It shouldn't surprise me if someone's taken off on a stretcher by the end of it. I think at this stage that it would do no harm to the Bucks to lose the titles, and I think the Lucha Brothers they've challenged, and AEW's been around long enough. They need to win it, or they're gonna start losing some shine.
I agree. Lucha Brothers are my favourite tag team in the entire world. For me, there isn't a bad tag team around at the moment, as far as I'm concerned. Ray Phoenix is just how the hell he does some of his stuff, or most of his stuff. It just baffles me. It almost defies gravity sometimes, and I'm really looking forward to that match. And I want Lucha Brothers to win. Obviously, they didn't win the last time. I think they had a match against the Bucks. Actually, in fact, my favourite match in AEW was the match that Lucha Brothers and the Bucks had when they put across as the Bucks were a bit rusty, and the Lucha Brothers was, and the way that match played out was absolutely superb. So I think it'll even go the 45 minutes mark as well. And I hope,
40. It's quite a long card. It's like there's 10 matches on the card. I think 25 minutes is my prediction.
Yeah.
You reckon it'll be interesting to see if they may do. They may do, but okay. Andrew, any quick guesses on that?
Well, I did see the match between them and was it Jungle
Jim. Yeah, that's right. Jungle Jack.
Jim. Yeah, that was a really good match. So yeah, I'll go with the Lucha Brothers.
Okay. Last couple of matches we got here. We've got Chris Statlander against Britt Baker. I think Statlander doesn't stand a chance, basically. Yeah. Any disagreement on that?
No.
Yeah.
D is on a hot streak at the moment, and it'd be silly for her to drop the title. She's been a revelation in the AEW's women division.
Yeah, completely agree. Okay, then we have Omega against Christian. Obviously, Christian defeated Omega a couple of weeks back on the debut episode of Rampage for the Impact World Championship. And so it does put the stakes as that Christian has won, like in their feud. But I think, again, Omega's going to win it. And Christian, the shame about this is even though he's getting a main event world title match at All Out, ultimately he's just going to, after his AEW debut, it's just meaning that he's back in TNA. So I think that's something which is a bit of a shame for him because I don't think he's winning the title.
Oh, I disagree with you in the fact he's going to go back to Impact or TNA. I think maybe this week, or I'm hoping at least, that he'll put his belt on the line as well. We'll end up having a title versus title match. And again, Omega takes it back off him.
I think that would be the better option because if anything, because I think Christian just going back to TNA, it's just like, well, he's already, he was in TNA years ago. I don't think it adds anything new to TNA. It means that Omega didn't put over an Impact wrestler in the end.
Yeah.
But so that's an interesting theory. Andrew, any thoughts?
Omega.
Yeah. Okay, and lastly, we have Punk and Darby Allin. Punk has to win, in my opinion. I think, if he comes back and loses, it would be a shock. But I think it would absolutely kill any momentum, and I don't think Allen losing this will hurt him at all. He's elevated regardless.
Absolutely, I completely agree. I think it's in Chicago. Punk's going over. There is no way on this earth that Punk's losing that match. I think there'll be a show of respect from Punk to Darby Allin at the end of the match. So it'll make obviously Darby look not weak, basically. Go up, shake hands or hug him or a little bit of that. So Darby still comes off really strong, even though he lost the match.
Yeah, Andrew, anything to add on that?
CM Punk.
Yeah, and obviously it's in Chicago. It's one of the other reasons why that will be the main event. But with this...
And it's been 7 years, or however long.
Yeah, absolutely. With this, we will go on to our next round. And our next round, we're going to quickly go on to our headlines round. So I will give a point here if there's either a correct or amusing answer. But I will read to you a few of the headlines from the last few days. And I will blank out part of the headline. You just have to fill in the blank of what you think it is. So, first of all, proof of blank required to attend AEW Dynamite in September. Proof of blank required to attend AEW Dynamite in September. Andrew?
Proof of release from WWE.
Excellent answer. Bonus point there. Yeah, that would absolutely... Well, I don't even know if they require proof anymore. They're taking everyone. So, any other thoughts on this, Darius?
Well, so the proof of not being a WWE fan is required to attend AEW on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, the actual answer was proof of vaccination is going to be required to go in. And they've actually said if you are not able to show that you are vaccinated or not willing to, then they will give you a refund. So they're being quite firm about this. Next up, Deonna Purrazzo on the Forbidden Blank. Deonna Purrazzo on the Forbidden Blank. Yeah, Darius.
Deonna Purrazzo on the Forbidden Planet.
The Forbidden Planet. Yeah, that would be a hell of a good movie. Bonus point there. Andrew, any guesses?
Mine's too rude.
Bonus point there. We all know what you were thinking. But it will sound rude when you first say it, but it is on the forbidden door. And with this, we will take this on. Okay. Dexter Lumis accidentally blanks Johnny Gargano. Any guesses? Dexter Lumis accidentally blanks Johnny Gargano. Andrew.
Dexter Lumis accidentally cock blocks Johnny Gargano.
Accidentally cock blocks him. Bonus point there. Any predictions on this one, Darius?
Dexter Lumis accidentally puts over Johnny Gargano.
Well, it's not quite that. It's accidentally costs a win to Johnny Gargano. So he doesn't quite put him over, but he actually does the opposite. So CM Punk officially retires from blank. Any guesses? I can tell you now it isn't that CM Punk officially retires from AEW, because that would be quite a letdown after 7 years build-up. But any guesses? Any guesses? Darius.
CM Punk officially retires from being the voice of the voiceless.
Do you know what? I'm going to give a bonus point there, because he did actually do that on the show about a week ago, but that isn't the answer we're looking for. Andrew, any guesses?
What was it again, CM Punk?
Officially retires from blank.
Officially retires from Chicago.
Whoa, that would be a hell of a thing to do at this stage. No, it is that CM Punk officially retires from MMA. So, shock to the world, shock horror. He is retired he has informed Dana White at the UFC that he is retired as a mixed martial artist. But with this, the last one is The Rock reacts to his blank. The Rock reacts to his blank. And Andrew.
The Rock reacts to his what was it? His double.
Yes, this is correct answer. Some may have seen that there's been a headline in the news over the last few days that there is a police officer in one of the states of America, I forget which one, and apparently he looks the spitting image of The Rock. And when you see him, like certain angles, you can see it's not him, but other angles, this guy should quit being a cop and start being his stunt double or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's sort of got the man. He knows he looks like The Rock as well, because some of the poses he does when he's having photos taken,
yeah,
very Rock-esque. The way he smiles, just the way he carries himself, and some of the photos, you can tell he's like, yeah, I look like The Rock. But if you look like The Rock.
Well, yeah, exactly. You go to every bar and whatever. Okay, so moving on to our next round. First of all, we're going to have a quick news update from the news desk of the Iron Sheik, and here is the latest headline from the Iron Sheik. And this accompanies a photo of E.T. the Extraterrestrial, and it says, "I be honest with you, E.T. Bubba. You could have phoned home in the first 10 minutes, saved us all the trouble, you dumb son of a bitch." So, that is the latest news update from the desk of the Iron Sheik. But with this, we're going to go on to our next round, which is going to be 20 questions, which, with Assad still not having returned, means you actually get 10 questions apiece. So, 20 questions. I'm thinking of a wrestler, and you have to figure out who it is. And, Andrew, you can have the first question.
Are they currently active?
Yes, they are. So, they are currently active. Darius, your question.
Will they be in a match on a Sunday at All Out?
No, they will not. Okay.
Were they in a match at SummerSlam?
Yes, they were, I believe. Let me just double check that. It's been a couple of weeks, I forget. So, SummerSlam. I'm fairly sure they were. Right, so SummerSlam. And this is where we will just... 1 second. So, got to scroll through to check this. I love fact checking. Let me just double check. So, results. Wait for it. And no, in fact, they were not. No, my bad. But there's still definitely a clue within that I thought they may have been. Okay, Darius, your question.
This is the thing, how how Andrew is with AEW, and this is how I am with WWE. I tend not to pay any attention to it, to be fair. Are they currently on the SmackDown roster?
Yes, they are.
Yeah. I'm not going to get this.
Okay, Andrew.
Are they currently holding a championship?
No, they are not. Oh wait, yes they are. Shit, man, I'm getting every question wrong. This teaches me personally that I should actually have watched like Raw and everything since SummerSlam. But go for it, Andrew.
So
They are. Sorry, so Darius, it's your question now.
Oh, no, I don't know what to ask. Okay, so are they a male wrestler?
Yes, they are.
There's no females. So who's won the 24/7 championship since SummerSlam? I don't know. Someone must have. I'm guessing it's 24/7.
Well, we know that they are a current championship holder. That is. I believe that's what you asked. If not, you get that bonus free. Right. So, Andrew, it's your question.
Oh, sorry. Is it the Intercontinental Championship?
Yes, it is. Oh, wow, what a stab in the dark. Okay. Darius, it's your question. Technically, if you know who the Intercontinental Champion is, you could steal this now.
Yeah, absolutely. But the problem is, I don't know who the Intercontinental Champion is. I have no idea. Who is Intercontinental? I know who the US Champion is, but not the Intercontinental Champion. That's embarrassing, isn't it? It's not going to be. I don't know. I know it's not this person, but is it Sheamus?
It is not Sheamus. It is not. Okay, Andrew, do you want to take a guess?
Are you Shinsuke Nakamura?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. He didn't wrestle at SummerSlam. Intercontinental, but anyway, right. I was like, yeah, definitely. And then it's like, wait, did he? And then, no, he didn't. But okay, well done, Andrew. You get the points there, for which you'll get 3 points bonus. So with this, we will move on to our patented impressions round. So, and you know what? Just because, like, I know we all love doing impressions here, we can make it that you can describe the wrestler, but you're not allowed to say their name. We'll say that's the rule today. So I'll get you a list of wrestlers, and you'll have like 90 seconds on the clock to describe them.
Do an impression if I can.
Oh yeah, do an impression if you can. But you can just describe them anyway. You can skip if you need to. We know the drill by now. But with this, let's roll the dice to see who will go first. And it will be me, in fact. So I will go first. So keep track of how many you guys guess. And here you go. For life. Yeah, screw you guys. Right, when I powerbomb Bob Backlund and take that WWF Championship, me and my buddies in the clique, Andrew.
Diesel.
Yes, I am Diesel. I am the best there is, the best there was, and the best Darius.
Bret Hart.
Correct. See, you know, and I know that you're only half the man that I am, and I have half the brain that you do. Andrew.
Psycho Sid.
It is Sid. Damn him! What a slobber knocker!
Who's?
Darius.
Is that JR?
It is JR. Next up. Oh, wait for it. I've got a prop here. This is important. Hey, yo. Andrew.
Razor Ramon.
For anyone listening, that was a toothpick in my mouth. Okay, let's see what else we've got. I got some bad news for you.
Who's?
Darius.
Wade Barrett.
Correct. Oh, God, let's see who else we are. Okay. I'm going to say his name. I can't say it. Screw it. Skip that one then. Okay, who else we got? Can't do that. Can't do that. Skip. Shit. Well, you know something, little dude. Me wearing my mask that I've got on right now, brother. I hope you know who I am, because I'm definitely not Hulk Hogan. Andrew.
Mr. America.
Correct, and that is long since time. Right, how many did you guys get? Did you keep track?
Yeah.
Okay, how many did you get, Darius?
I got 3.
3. So 1, 2, 3. How many did you get, Andrew?
No idea what.
Take a guess.
4.
Okay, oh, look at that. He's giving himself an extra point. 3, 4. So I'll give myself 7 points there. So, moving on. Let's roll the dice. Let's see who will go next. Okay, this will be Darius. Let's find some wrestlers for you. So you don't have to do impressions again. I shouldn't have done impressions. I'd have been able to do a lot more. But with this, Darius, I'm sending you over your list. And you should have them now. And here you go.
No. Okay. Skip. I'm gonna skip. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Okay, so you have to be the description for this one.
Yeah, go for
it. Currently wrestles in AEW. Has a brother who's younger than him that likes to take all the glory. Likes to wrestle first. Likes to have his first match on pay-per-view. This is his brother, not actually him. Actually wrestled his brother. Very emotional match.
Buzz. Dustin Rhodes.
Dustin Rhodes it was, yeah. So, wrestled against Ricochet in New Japan years ago. Well,
Buzz, Will Ospreay.
That's the one, yeah. Right, so, just showed up in AEW. Massive draw for AEW.
Buzz, CM Punk.
That's the one, yeah. Right, yeah. Okay, so,
Buzz, Rob Van Dam.
Van Dam it is, yeah. So I couldn't do the...
Yeah.
Right, so... No, skip. No. No. I don't know how you're going to do any of those.
Got 10 seconds left.
I do apologise. I'm not very good with these. No.
Okay, and that is time. Don't worry. Right, so Andrew, you will go last on this one. And let's scroll and grab some here for you. Okay, copy. So, Andrew, I'm sending you your list now. And just for the audience who may be just listening to this, it's that we had the RVD, arms pointing in on that last round. So, Andrew, there's your list. And here you go.
Member of the Mexicals.
Buzz, Psychosis.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Classic Sons.
Classic Sons. Buzz, Chalvo Jr.
Yes. Spinebuster. Not Triple H.
Buzz, Arn Anderson.
Yes. Booker T's brother.
Buzz, Stevie Ray.
Yes. Natalia's father.
Oh, Buzz, Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
Yes. He loves to fight.
Darius.
Oh, no.
Darius.
Is it Sheamus?
No.
No.
Buzz, Fit Finlay.
I'm not sure.
Dave Finlay.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Are they the same person?
We'll come to that in a second, but no, they're not.
Randy's father.
Ooh. I don't know.
Randy. Not Randy Savage.
Oh, Buzz.
Darius.
The Viper.
Yeah, Bob Orton.
Yep. It's true, it's damn true.
Buzz, Kurt Angle.
Yep. He was a referee. Armageddon did that weird segment where he shot himself.
What? Shot himself?
In a bar. Something to do with Hell in a Cell, and he got injured in it.
Oh, Buzz. Tim White.
Yes.
Shot himself? Oh, that is time. Okay, well done. Okay, so on that, Andrew, that means you are our definitive winner and this week's Slam Jam champion. Well done with the most points. Well done. So, with this, in last place, however, was Assad, who was here for the first minute, but then disappeared, but still is somewhere in the background. But with this, we'll find out where we can find everyone on social media, and then, of course, we'll wrap things up. So, Darius, where can the people find you?
Oh, you can find me at the All Elite Wrestling UK fan page. Just type in All Elite Wrestling UK and ask to join, and either myself or some of my esteemed admins, moderators, will let you in.
Okay, Andrew, where can the people find you?
You can find me shortly on the 8:30 show, and then after that, I couldn't tell you.
Okay, so that is, for anyone watching or listening to this not live, we have the Extreme Improv Extreme Show, which you can check out at the Extreme Improv YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Extreme Improv. You can go to www.extremes.tv, where you'll be able to find loads of wrestling-related articles, podcasts, and other stuff, including all of the previous Slam Jam wrestling shows. And with this, just 1 second, there is a breaking news headline. It's nothing big. I don't know what it is here. It says, Linda McMahon has a new blank. Any guesses? Linda McMahon has a new blank.
Hopefully a new husband.
Right, what it is, I don't know what this is. Right, it says Linda McMahon has a new gig. And that Linda McMahon, chair of the board, will serve as the America First policy something, I don't know. Right, she was in the government for Donald Trump. It can't be.
Yeah, she's getting, well, they've been in politics for a while. They give a lot of money to Florida, don't they?
Yeah, something like that. Right, on that note, thank you so much. Until next time, stay safe, always stay extremed. Enjoy All Out this weekend. And for now, we are all out of here. Boom, and we are off the air. Awesome, guys. Great show.